Okay. Hare Krishna. Om Arjuna Om Janan Timirandasya Janan Janan Shalankaya Shashkul Nimitamiena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Spapitam Hina Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahiyam Tadasi Svapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaisnavascha Shri Rupam Sajagratam Sahagana Radhunatam Vitam Tam Sajvam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Shaitaya Devam Krishna Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vishcha He Krishna Karuno Sindhu Dina Bando Ajagat Pate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavansveri Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhya Evacha Patitalam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome everyone to today's session. Please accept my humble obeisances. Our host, Professor Radhika Mataji, says she'll be a little bit late today, so I host today. Otherwise, welcome everyone, and today we are continuing with Srimad Bhagavatam. We are doing Srimad Bhagavatam 2, Canto 2, Chapter 9, 36. Yes, verse 36. And our mentor is Her Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji. As we wait for Her Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji to join and maybe be reading it. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, verse 38. We can try to practice this, the Sanskrit. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Can try to read. Etavad eva jinas viam tatva jinas sunatma namaha anvaya viatirikabhyam yat svatra svada. Anyone who want to try to read that Sanskrit? Yes, our mentor today has joined us. So welcome to do today's discourse. Your Grace Kasturi, Radhika Mataji. We are so glad to be with you here. Today we are doing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, and we are just starting on verse 36. We did verse 36 yesterday up to the first two paragraphs with His Grace Padma Prema Prabhu. So today we would be starting from the revealed scriptures. So welcome. Please accept our humble obeisances. Karibu. Over to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. I think you're not able to hear me, right? Let me do the phone thing again. Is my voice audible?
Yes, it's a bit slow.
Yes, that's why I'll just pause this one. One. Am I audible, dear devotees?
Yes, very audible. Thank you.
Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurummilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashrayata Deshatari. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, dear devotees, so this is the verse that we will be looking at. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Narayanam Namaskritya, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tat Srinivata Swagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridayantastau Yabhadrani Vidunoti Sugrit Sadam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Yam Bhagavata Seveya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. Hey Krishna. So dear devotees, we are into the Chatusloki Bhagavatam and so we are looking into the fourth verse of the Chatusloki Bhagavatam. The first three questions have been seen along with their answers. So now we are entering into the fourth question that is posed and for which answer is given by the Lord. And this is going to be the last verse of Chatusloki Bhagavatam, where we are going to see that obviously we saw a lot of things. We talked about material and spiritual forms and how his Lord's different energies are working. And it was also spoken that obviously the pastimes of the Lord in relationship to the energies were spoken by the Lord. And these were the questions of Brahmaji. And now Brahmaji is saying guidance to serve without any pride and bondage. And then obviously the Lord speaks Chatusloki Bhagavatam, answers Brahmaji's questions, and then he concludes and disappears. And in this verse, what is the theme? First, let's understand the theme of this verse. It is talking about bhakti. This particular verse is talking about bhakti. One who is searching after the absolute truth must perform what? What are we all performing every day? We are all performing sadhana bhakti, which is determined as the best process. And again, Lord is saying that only by bhakti you can overcome bondage, right, and lethargy. This is what he says, and this is kind of the gist of this verse. What is the gist of this verse, dear devotees? One who is searching after the truth must perform what? Must perform sadhana bhakti, which is determined as the best process. And only through this bhakti, what can be overcome? Pride, bondage, and lethargy can be overcome. This is sort of the gist. And Lord is telling Brahmaji, see, follow these instructions with extreme concentration. Then you will never be bewildered. After instructing Brahma and having been seen in his transcendental form, the Lord disappeared. The Lord, the object of the transcendental enjoyment for the senses of the devotees, disappeared. And Brahma then began to recreate the universe. So, devotees, this particular verse is talking about bhakti, for which different kinds of pramanas are being quoted by Srila Prabhupada here. That's why this verse is so big. So let's delve into Srila Prabhupada's purports and understand what all Srila Prabhupada is quoting as a reference for bhakti. Are you all clear with this explanation so far? I just wanted to sort of condense and tell you, yes, we are going to be talking about sadhana bhakti, which is the best process. Yeah, and this is the way you can focus or concentrate on the absolute truth. And through this process, what is going to happen? Only by bhakti, you can overcome bondage. Of course, so when you are performing 24/7 bhakti, you're going to accumulate any karma. Are you going to accumulate karma through this process of bhakti? No, right? Karma is not going to be accumulated through bhakti. Our pride in the heart of the devotees, that is going to diminish too with sadhana bhakti. So, dear devotees, that is the gist of this verse, and let's now get into Srila Prabhupada's purport. Now, Srila Prabhupada is telling the person who is searching after the supreme absolute, the personality of Godhead, must certainly search for it is up to this in all circumstances, in all space, time, and both directly and indirectly. So now, there is no need to seek qualified candidates for discharging devotional service to the Lord. Let them be either well-behaved or ill-trained. Let them be learned or let them be fools. Let them be grossly attached or let them be in the renounced order of life. Let them be liberated or let them have the desire for salvation. Let them be an inexpert in or discharge devotional service, or let them be an expert of the same. All of them, Prabhupada mentions that all of them can be elevated to the supreme position by discharge of devotional service under proper guidance. And then he quotes the Bhagavad Gita 9.30 and 9.32. Krishna serves as serves in the heart of every living entity. Hence, all living entities are eligible because Krishna is present in all of them. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, Pandita Samadarshana. It is open to everyone. That is the point Srila Prabhupada makes. He quotes these two words of Bhagavad Gita and then helps us understand that, yes, see, Krishna is there in all of devotees' hearts, and hence all of them are eligible. There is no discrimination in performing devotional service. Oh, yeah, this person can do, that person can. No. There is no eligibility to perform devotional service. And then he says, 18.61, he quotes from Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridadeshe Arjuna Tishtati. So he says, the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and he is directing all the wanderings of the living entities. who are seated as on a machine made of energy. Then he quotes this verse, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Amine Gavi Hastini. The humble sages, by virtue of the knowledge, equal vision, a learned and a gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. They see with equal vision. What are they seeing? They are seeing the Atma in the heart of every living entity, right? That is the point. And then he mentions about the fact that, yes, even if a person is fully addicted to all sorts of sinful acts, if he happens to engage in the loving devotional service of the Lord under proper guidance, because if you're not having that guidance, you'll be astray. You'll be understanding the devotional in a wrong way. So he is considered to be the most perfect holy man without a doubt. And thus, any person whatsoever he or she may be. I'm getting some. Is this normal? Coming on the speaker, just a little bit here and there. I'm not sure on my or if it's. Let's see if that disturbance is striking again. But are you all okay, dear devotees? Are you all able to hear? So far, so good?
Yes. I think one of us was muted.
Okay. Okay. So the point that we were talking about is, I think 2.69, where Srila Prabhupada talks about when it comes to night of all living beings, it is the time of awakening of the self-control, and the time of awakening of the beings is night for an introspective sage. So fire is always fire. If someone is going to touch the fire knowingly or unknowingly, what is going to happen? The fire will act without discrimination. So now, all-powerful Supreme Lord, he can purify. Okay, there is devotee with sinful reactions. Yes, he can purify. The sun can sterilize all sorts of infection by its powerful rays. Like that, the Lord can do without, he can purify anybody, any living entity, even if he has a lot of sinful activities that he has performed, he'd still be able to purify that devotee through bhakti. And then Prabhupada mentions that attraction for material and enjoyment cannot act upon a pure devotee of the Lord. And to prove that, he says there are so many aphorisms in the revealed scriptures. And then he brings about the point, you know what? This bhakti, this particular verse that we are talking about is glorification of bhakti, dear devotees. And hence, we are just bringing up so many relevant scriptures quotings to kind of prove the fact, you know what? Even the self-realized souls, they are also attracted to the loving service of the Lord, right? What do you have to do? All you have to do is simply hear and chant and then become a great devotee of Lord Vasudeva. A person who does not have, who doesn't move from the lotus feet of our Lord, even for a moment or a second, he is considered to be the greatest of the Vaishnavas. So many aphorisms are quoted just to prove the fact bhakti is great. Bhakti, it can purify anybody. And is there a qualification for bhakti that we need? No, there is no qualification needed. Anybody can take up the process of bhakti. And is bhakti going to purify only some sect of people? No. Even people with sinful reactions can be purified through bhakti. The pure devotees, of course, they are convinced that they are going to attain the association of personality of Godhead. And because of that reason, they are always engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. They do not waste even a moment. Oh, if they hear something other than Lord Krishna, they just shy away or move out or walk out of that place. Every minute, every second, they like to enjoy Krishna's name, features, pastimes, and they love to be immersed in the favor of the Lord. This is their speciality. That is pure devotees. That is not tinged with any jnana or karma. It is just pure. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada says, therefore, in all continents, in all planets, in all universe, devotional service to the Lord or bhakti yoga is current. And that is the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. Everywhere. That means it's there in every part of the creation. The Lord can be served by all senses or even simply by the mind. If somebody wants to serve the Lord in the mind, can anybody else stop that? No. And we all know the South Indian Brahmana who served the Lord simply by the strength of his mind. Right? The Lord can be served by any ingredient. A flower, a fruit, a leaf, a water, whatever available, that is available without any cost. Through that, Lord can be served universally by universal entities. And he can be simply served by hearing. He can be simply served by chanting or reading about his activities. Or he can be simply served by, we can simply serve him by adoring him, by accepting his mercy. One can serve the Lord offering the result of his work. Of course, that is karma arpanam. It is mixed with karma. Because we all do karma. We do have that privilege of offering that to the Lord. Right? Because we are all servant of the Lord. Yat karoshi yadasnashi. That verse talks about it. Do whatever you like. Whatever is easier for you to do. Eat whatever you may eat. Sacrifice whatever you may want to sacrifice. Give whatever you may want to give in charity. Do whatever you may want to undertake as penance. But everything must be done only for him. If you do business or if you accept some employment, do so on behalf of the Lord. Whatever you may eat, offer the same to the Lord. And he will return the food after eating himself, right? That's the point. That is prasada. How can he give you, how can he eat and keep it very intact? That's what Isha Upanishad verse comes, right? Even though he eats the prasadam, it's still remaining intact. That's the first verse of Isha Upanishad, which clarifies that point. Right? So, as a servant of the Lord, all we have to do is engage in the service of the Lord and live peacefully in that consciousness. And ultimately, what happens through this process? The ultimate goal of going back to Godhead happens. Right? This is a point. It's not an easy step, but it does happen. Then he talks about, obviously, he brings up this point about food, right? Food prepared for more than 3 hours before being eaten, the food becomes tasteless, decomposed, and putrid. And this is untouchable, and it's usually in the mode of darkness. Again, we should all understand the purpose of food is to purify the mind and give us this bodily strength. This is the purpose. In the past, we see great authorities, they have selected those foods that aid their health and increase the duration of life, such as, say, milk products, wheat, fruits, and vegetables. These fruits are in the mood of goodness. And again, he also brings up a contrast to say there are animal fat, and obviously these kind of food that is got through animal fat and things of that nature is done by killing the innocent creatures. The civilized method of obtaining fat is by milk, and slaughter is the way of subhumans, Prabhupada says. Protein, he says, it's very much ample in the split peas, dal, whole wheat, and all of that. So you don't have to kill animals necessarily to get that protein that you need. This is a wrong belief, dear devotees. So obviously, Prabhupada condemns that activity, and we should also try as much as possible to educate people about this point that slaughtering animals, killing them, and getting protein out of it, or for whatever benefits you may think, it's not a good or viable idea. In that process, we are accumulating so much karma, right? It's definitely, you like to be treated the way you want to be treated. And if you're doing this to some animal, you think you won't get, if you're going to brutally kill an animal, you think you won't get repercussions for it? Of course, you're going to get repercussions for it. So then Prabhupada talks about Kapil Dev's teachings, he brings about this point that the stage in which consciousness of a living entity is attracted by three modes of material life, what is that called? That is called conditioned life. When the same consciousness is attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what is that consciousness called? It is the consciousness of liberation. So this is the point he brings. And then he says there is a distinction between Krishna consciousness and Maya consciousness, right? Maya means involvement of the three modes of material nature, which sometimes is in goodness, sometimes is in passion, and sometimes it's in ignorance. These different qualitative activities with a central theme of, oh yeah, I want to enjoy this material universe. They are the cause for this conditioned life. And when one becomes Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada says, yes, he is in the path of liberation. So beautifully he contrasts every point. He talks about food, he talks about consciousness, he talks about what is the way of liberation, what is the way of conditioning, and how people are conditioned, why people are conditioned through the modes, and what is the way to come out of that conditioning through bhakti. And you just need to be Krishna consciousness, in Krishna consciousness, so you can head towards the path of liberation. Hope you're all with me so far, dear devotees. And then he says, he again quotes Bhagavad Gita, he says, know that all states of being, be it goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. And you know what? I, the Lord, I am not under the modes of material nature. For they are contrary and they are within me. For on the contrary, they are within me. And now he also quotes another Bhagavad Gita verse and says, see, deluded by the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, this whole world does not know me. I am beyond the modes and I'm inexhaustible. But because of the modes, they don't know me. They are not paying attention to the details, right? The people who even in Krishna consciousness, we are coming with a set of qualities that we have acquired over time through birth, through whatever means, through karma. We have certain qualities. We may not be meticulous about things. We may not be having that quality of cleanliness. What do you do when you enter into temple? Are you clean? Are you, obviously you have to be mentally clean, physically clean. Are we taking care of that rules and regulations? Are we conscious about it? So that is something that we have to educate ourselves. Yes, see, I'm going to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How am I supposed to go? How am I supposed to be? I mean, how would I serve my deities? Am I taking necessary care and precautions in being clean? And do I recite the prayers before the Lord? Or I just ask for some benedictions directly after going to the temple, right? So again, very important point, how your consciousness should be. And then obviously when you take spiritually advanced people, all of them, they glorify the Lord through the choice of their prayers. And we all know the story of Gajendra. The mantra he was saying in his previous life, he started to say that. And then he quotes Sukadeva Goswami in the 8th canto, 3rd chapter, 1st verse. He talks about king of elephants, Gajendra. He fixed his mind in his heart with perfect intelligence and chanted the mantra which he heard in his previous birth, as Indradyumna. And now, how did he remember that in this birth as an elephant? He remembers it by the grace of Krishna. Here is the elephant. He's just then quoting, here is this elephant which is chanting this mantra from previous life. You all believe it? My God, unbelievable, isn't it? So Prabhupada brings all that points to help us understand how potent this process of bhakti is. And then he tells even if a person is engaged in devotional service, if he falls down, he is not degraded. In due course of time, he is in a position where he is going to be placed in a position where in due course of time, he is going to remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, Gajendra, we know he was formerly King Indradyumna, and somehow or the other in the next life, he became the king of elephants. Now, Gajendra was in danger. And although he was in the body other than that of a human being, he remembered the Shotra and he chanted that in the body of an elephant. To enable one attain this achieve this perfection, Krishna gives one a chance to remember him again. This is what is proved here. Although the king of elephants, Gajendra, he was put into danger, this was the chance for him to remember his previous devotional activities. So he could immediately be rescued by the personality of Godhead. Good on time, yeah. So now, every devotee should practice. I'm so sorry. 1 minute, please. Yeah, I'll just keep it like this. Anyways, so now it is very important that all the devotees in Krishna consciousness practice the chanting of mantra. Certainly chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Every devotee should chant the mantra perfectly, so that even though he may be imperfect in spiritual consciousness in this life, in the next life he will not forget Krishna. This is very important. Even if there is a fall down, the practice of Krishna consciousness never goes in vain. We all now learnt about Ajamil too, right? Ajamil in his when he was a boy infant, he practiced chanting the names of Narayana under the direction of his father. And in youth, he fell down. He became a drunkard. He became a women hunter. He became a rogue. Nonetheless, because of chanting the name of Narayana, for the purpose of calling his son, who he had named Narayana, he became advanced, even though he was involved in so many sinful activities. Therefore, Prabhupada brings up this point that you should never forget the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra under any circumstance. This will help us in great danger, as we find in Lord Gajendra's story. That's what he says. So he over and over, he just repeatedly brings up this point that bhakti is potent. You should not give up bhakti. Even if you fall down in the path of bhakti, there is no fall down per se. You're going to revive and come back soon, and God is going to give you a chance to remember him once again. So that chance will be given by the Lord. So don't worry. Just keep doing what you do. This is what he over and over states in the purports. And then what else he says? He says, he brings up a lot of quotations, of course, dear devotees. And then he talks about when the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, who carries his hands a conch shell, a wheel, a club, lotus flower is worshipped, certainly all other demigods are worshipped automatically, because Hari, the personality of Godhead, is all pervading. Therefore, in all cases, everyone is benefited by the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The man who worships the Lord himself is who is worshipped, the cause for which the Lord is worshipped, the source of the supply, the place where such worship is done. Everything is benefited by an action. Can you all understand this point, dear devotees? So who are all benefited through this? A man who worships the Lord, he is benefited. Okay, the Lord himself who is worshipped, and then the cause of which the Lord is worshipped, the source of supply, the place where it is worshipped. Everything is benefited through Lord's worship. And then he clarifies, even during annihilation of the material world, the process of Bhakti Yoga can be applied. See, he brings about creation, then he talks about, okay, while living in this material world, what is going on and how Bhakti will never go in vain. And then even in annihilation of this material world, the Bhakti Yoga can be applied. He brings up that point. And then he says, if even for a moment remembrance of Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is missed, that's a great loss. That is the greatest illusion, and that is the greatest anomaly. The Lord can be worshipped in all stages of life. So, dear devotees, it's a very, very important point which can be taken, right? So, what is it telling? It is that if you don't remember the Lord, even for a teeny tiny moment, that's a great loss and you're in great illusion. That is the greatest anomaly. The Lord can be worshipped in all stages of life. Dear devotees, he then brings up this, Prabhupada brings up this example of Maharaj Prahlad and Maharaj Parikshit, who worshipped the Lord even when they were as young as in a childhood. They were only, Dhruva was only 5 years old. He worshipped the Lord. And in youth, Ambrish Maharaj worshipped the Lord. And in the last stage, when he was frustrated and when he was old, Maharaj Dhritarashtra worshipped the Lord. And Ajamil, he worshipped the Lord at the time of death. And Chitraketu Maharaj, what about him? He worshipped the Lord even when he was in heaven. He gives all these points. He's talking about Maharaj Prahlad, Maharaj Parikshit. Even when they were little boys, they worshipped Lord. Dhruva, he was only 5 years. He worshipped the Lord. How about Ambrish Maharaj? He was a youth when he worshipped the Lord. How about Ajamil? How about Dhritarashtra? He was old and he was frustrated about the whole life. At that time, he worshipped the Lord. Ajamil, at the point of time of his death, he worshipped the Lord. And then, what about Chitraketu Maharaj? He worshipped the Lord when he was in heaven and in hell. So this is the point, dear devotees. Anytime, any hour, if you don't think about Lord, that is a great loss and that is illusion. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, all whatever papas there that we have done, sins that we have done, the inhabitants of hell became released from their hellish persecution. That is the potency of the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So when it comes to the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam, obviously we talk over and over about bhakti, chanting the glories of the holy names of the Lord. And that is the only thing that we have to do in order to achieve that success that we are looking for in all pursuits of life. You have to chant. He also says, Prabhupada says, even though one is well versed in Vedas and scriptures, if one is not a devotee of the Lord, he is considered to be the lowest of the mankind. So it's very, very important that if you are going to deviate from this path of devotional service, and if you are going to disrespect the lotus feet of the Lord, even if you know many, many shastras, if you can be an expert of all of those, it is absolutely Shrama Evahi Kevalam. You are considered the lowest of the mankind. That's why the Mayavadis who pretend as if they attain the Brahmajyoti, they never attain Brahmajyoti if they disrespect the lotus feet of the Lord. Very important point, dear devotees. And then many people, we all know, they all have mixed desires and they don't understand the law of karma. They don't perform devotional service. And for them, just this body is, it's just a body made of mucus, bile and air. And, it's mentioned that obviously this person in old age, he becomes disturbed. The old man becomes rheumatic with bodily ailments. One who has accepted this body is a combination of bile, mucus and air as self. He is an ass. This is a fact, Prabhupada says. If we accept this combination, we consider ourselves as the body, it's the biggest mistake. We are not the body, we are servants of Krishna. This fact has to be known. And then we consciously work towards the fact, yes, I am a servant of Krishna and I should not be acting in this way. God can make impossible possible, dear devotees. I've seen many possible instances where when a devotee is surrendered to the Lord does everything for that devotee. I know personally of one Mataji. She's a devotee, okay? And, very, very staunch devotee of the Lord. She started off with Krishna consciousness because another devotee introduced her to the process of Krishna consciousness. And when they started off, husband was supportive. So the wife was able to go and perform devotional service for, be in all satsang and all of that. After a while, the husband started feeling that the wife's attitude changed. Krishna came into picture every time. Whenever something had to be done, Krishna came into picture. So the husband was not really very supportive of that fact. Oh my God, why does Krishna have to come into this now? Why is she calling out for Krishna here? Why is she doing this for Krishna every time? So he felt there was a disturbance or change in the lifestyle. And he was not supportive of her doing Krishna consciousness anymore. And Mataji suffered so many hurdles. Her phone was taken away, her car was taken away. So many things happened. But her devotion to Krishna never failed. She was very, very staunch all through. Okay, be it phone is lost, no problem. I still can, nobody can take my mind away from Krishna. My car is lost, okay, no problem. And you won't believe, dear devotees, how Krishna comes to help such devotees. It's just, she lives in the same town as me. And I'm seeing this practically. This Mataji, she was offered a car by her neighbor. Can you believe it? By her neighbor. And this neighbor considers this Mataji as her daughter. You know what? You are my daughter. I can do whatever for you, my dear, to keep you happy. If you need a car, I'll give you my car. Use my car. Take it. Go anywhere you want. And all she uses that car for is go to satsang. Be in the association of devotees. Do some seva. Nothing. But do service to Krishna. Any hurdle comes on the way, she always says, yeah, Krishna is there with me. I really don't even cry about these situations anymore. And Mataji is not initiated. But her belief in Krishna consciousness is triple or 100 times more than even an initiated devotee. Of course, she is initiated in her heart. That's what matters to you, devotee. She is initiated. Her family circumstance is such that she is not able to get a formal initiation as yet. This is very important because I want you to understand how Krishna helps dear devotees. And this Mataji was given a car now and she has a ride. And what about work? She doesn't have a job. How can she feed herself? Her husband is not supportive anymore. No problem. Krishna finds a way. She was without job for some time. At that time, a lot of people, her neighbor mom helped her in many ways. And then after some time, she found a job. With that, she's able to take care of the livelihood and, just basic needs of the family and basic purchases that she could make. And with that money, what Mataji does is just service to the Lord. How can I prepare bhoga? Whenever she goes to the satsang, she carries a huge amount of prasadam with her. Yes. It's all for Krishna. All for Krishna. Whatever earnings that comes, yes, it's all for Krishna. How, when people have good money, even then they don't have a heart to get huge quantities of prasadam, right? But Mataji takes trouble to perform her sadhana, perform her duties, material duties, and then prepares good amount of bhoga also for all the devotees whenever she goes to the satsang. And dear devotees, you won't believe, in this ambience, she has two daughters. Both of them, she has been raising them in Krishna consciousness right from the time of birth. And believe me or not, her daughter is 12 years old, or I think maybe 15 or 16 years old. And she is initiated now. She's an initiated devotee of Krishna conscious movement. This is the mercy. This is the mercy of Krishna, and this can never be calculated. The love that Krishna shows to devotees is unparalleled. You may think as if he's troubling a devotee. No. Through that trouble, he's increasing his devotion, increasing his or her devotion to the Lord. And because of that, Krishna melts even further. Even in this situation, she's not leaving me. Even in this situation, she's always taking my help. She's surrendering to me all the time. I'm looking at her. In every situation, she's not giving up on me. She's not telling me, oh, Krishna, you're bad. Why are you giving me so many sufferings? I can't take it. I can't tolerate it. And in spite of it, you're giving me so many sufferings. I don't really want you anymore. She's not going away from the process of Krishna consciousness. This is a true life example that I have seen and witnessed, how Krishna really protects and nurtures devotees who don't leave their lotus feet. Every minute that Mataji only says, it's all Krishna's mercy. It's all Krishna's mercy. Nothing comes out of her mouth other than this. It's all Krishna's mercy, or it's all devotees' mercy. If my daughter is initiated, credit goes to the friends that she has, the association she has, the devotees that she's around. I really didn't do anything for her to become a devotee. But at such a young age, she's accepted as a devotee, initiated devotee. This is the glory of bhakti. Bhakti can't be replaced by anything else. Once we understand the sweetness of Krishna, we can't move away from Krishna. I also know of another devotee who's also going through similar issues with her husband not supporting Krishna consciousness. But still, she's deeply hankering for the love of devotees. She's deeply hankering love of her spiritual master. She's deeply hankering for love of Krishna. So this deep hankering intensifies and intensifies. And soon they become very, very, very surrendered devotees. That the process of getting into becoming a pure devotee through the mercy of pure devotees, becomes easier for them, because that craving is there, that longing is there, that hankering is there. Unlike devotees who have everything. Oh, I have time with me, I have energy with me, I have support of my family, but you just are not hankering or not having that desire. What can we do about it? Isn't it? So we just pray, oh Krishna, I'm not able to hanker for your love. I'm not even, I'm just not having that ruchi. Please give me that ruchi to enjoy you, to always remember you, to always be attracted to your lotus feet. When I come to temple, I want to keep looking at you all the time, not look at people around and be distracted. Give that to me. This should be the mood, dear devotees. We will slowly, slowly get there. But these were two inspiring stories that I have to share with you, because I am really touched by these stories that happen in real life. This also increases my faith towards Krishna, right? Just thought, let me share these stories with you and then conclude the class. Panchakalpatarubhyasya kripasindubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas. All glories to our spiritual master. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Your Grace Kasturi Mataji, for that great discourse on Bhakti Sadhana of Bhakti. Thank you very much. I don't know whether there's anyone with a question from the assembled devotees or a comment. Or, yeah. Maybe before any comments, the Mataji, is sometimes in the path of Krishna consciousness, we find ourselves making maybe offenses that if we never knew about them, they would not be really offenses. Maybe you've decided to chant some certain amount of rounds, and then just how the days is unfolding, you find yourself you're not able to reach those rounds, and you feel so guilty that you are unable to do even the next day rounds. It's more of a vicious cycle. I don't know whether I don't know how to ask, but sometimes can the offenses be worse than not taking your I don't know having your bhakti in place. Yeah.
Yes, very good point. Yes, offenses to devotees, what it does is it takes away your ruchi basically. Whatever ruchi you have, that is slowly taken off in whatever devotional service or any seva that you do, or chanting or hearing. Oh, that ruchi will slowly diminish. And that shows, okay, you have committed an offense. And again, how do you rectify that? Only through the process of bhakti. You become conscious of it. I'm so sorry. You just repent or introspect of what mistakes you have done in the past, especially with devotees. Sometimes our mind just makes a comment about a devotee, makes a judgmental comment about a devotee, makes something that actually, in reality may even hurt a devotee. When we do a physical or a mental abuse of a devotee, then obviously it's going to take a toll on our devotional service. Our ruchi will start to diminish. We will not chant properly. We will not be able to complete our rounds. We will slowly start losing taste to bhakti. We can't even listen. Oh my God, this lecture is for 1 hour. When will this Mataji end this class? She's just going on talking about bhakti, bhakti, bhakti. What's this? I know enough about bhakti. You will start commenting about bhakti in a demeaning way. The whole process of devotional service will lose interest for you all of a sudden. At that time, you can realize, oh my God, I have committed an offense. Introspect yourself, see what you have done in the past. Try not to repeat that, and try to be very, very conscious of your surroundings. Be in Krishna consciousness. Be in Krishna conscious means you should be in alignment to Shastras. You should be in alignment to the teachings of our spiritual master. You should be alignment in teachings of Srila Prabhupada, Acharyas, things of that nature. That can make a big impact to how we perceive Bhakti. Bhakti Maharani is very kind. She gives us a chance. Come back again. Maybe but she doesn't tolerate any sort of offense to any devotee. That's why we can't be judgmental about anybody. Just when they do something, it's between, even if they do something wrong, it's between them and Krishna. What am I to say? Maybe that devotee is very exalted. I can't make a comment about that devotee. Just move away from that situations where you're forced to pass a comment about a devotee. Let's not get into that affair. Let's always give respect to devotees, right? This will definitely help. And as far as chanting goes, having this early in the morning is the only way to take care of finishing the rounds. As we get through the day, our day is tainted with modes, and mind is not going to allow you to focus on a single round. What might take a 9-minute round or an 8-minute round will take you like an hour to complete because of distractions. You keep getting phone calls, keep getting many distractions. Your mom is calling, your wife is calling, your children is calling, your office manager is calling. So many distractions that, oh yeah, let me pause. You can't complete the rounds. That's what happens. That's also due to lethargy, that chanting the rounds is not completed on time. Lethargy is another reason. We are lethargy. Oh, I'm not able to wake up at this time. So we procrastinate. So not necessarily you committed an offense, but it's your attitude of being lethargic. You are in the mode of ignorance and passion mainly. Because of that, you're not able to complete your rounds. So there could be many reasons why we are not able to do what we are not able to do. But as long as we are conscious about it, as long as we understand, this is like brushing. You brush your teeth every day. Like that, we have to have chanting. That's the first thing you do in the morning, no matter what. Hope that helps, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Helps really a lot. Thank you so much. I don't know that we have any other comment from the group. If there's no other comments, maybe I can ask. We have Her Grace Premila Mataji. If you can end the session for us today, kindly.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Prabhuji. Thank you for a most beautiful discourse. It was so inspiring and motivating as usual. We always look forward to listening to your discourse, Mataji. Thank you for helping us with our prayers and our sadhana and bhakti worship. So if I can ask everybody to please unmute and say the Hare Krishna mantra in glorification of Mataji. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. And all glories to Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Jai.
all glories. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.